So, I want to tell you about a very special summer advising cohort entirely online, starting in mid May. So, we'll go from mid May to mid June. And the topic is healing the wound of neediness and overgiving. This is a very powerful and special topic, near and dear to my heart. And the way we think about this is, have you ever been called needy or clingy by a partner or lover? Right? Have you ever lost a relationship because you were too needy? Right? You were suffocating to the other person and they finally just ran away from you, breaking your heart and causing you great pain. Or in the workplace, right? Have you had the situation where you are so craving validation and approval? Not necessarily ambition and promotion, but just validation and approval from managers and peers that you end up doing way more than your share of work and also rarely actually get any recognition for it. Or in a family situation, especially as a grown adult with your parents, where you have weak boundaries with them, right? And even as an adult, you are vulnerable to them, right? Dangling the prospect of actually potentially approving of you, right? Where you then take the bait, right? And before you know it, they are walking all over you, sort of exhausting your emotional reserves, taking advantage of you, even though you are a full adult with kids, career, everything, and yet still tolerating bad behavior from parents or siblings in a pattern that has not changed since you were a little kid. Okay? Now, when we come to realize that we may have an issue around neediness and overgiving, right? Or this craving for validation and approval just gets us into trouble over and over again in different areas of our lives. What is the advice we get? Right? What is the advice we get? Typically it's just, oh, just be stronger, right? Learn to love yourself. Learn to be more solid. Learn to just stop being so needy and clingy. Have more willpower. Right? This is about all people will say to us. But the question is, how do you actually do that? Right? Do you just meditate and all this stuff magically heals? Right? And in the cohort we will do this summer, we will show you a way to heal the wound of neediness and overgiving from within so that the feeling of neediness itself goes away. So there's nothing that you feel that you'll need to resist with willpower, like an addict or something. We will stop the craving itself from within once and for all. How does this work? Now, when you are needy, it is because you have a wound from childhood that is causing the neediness. And this is not your fault because nobody asks to be wounded. But when you have this wound, the way it will feel is that it's like you have this hole within you, this feeling of emptiness that you need to fill. And no matter how much you get of love, of caretaking, of affection, of emotional validation from another partner, coworkers, whatever, nothing will actually fill it. Even success at work and making a lot of money won't fill it. Praise and fame won't fill it. Having your kids and family actually appreciate you for once won't fill it. It'll be temporarily pleasurable, but it won't fill the actual hole. Nothing will fill it. No matter how much validation and affection you get, it always feels like it's never enough. And you run, exhausted on the treadmill trying to get enough anyway. And then you end up having this private shame, right? Of like, I mean, I complain all the time, but even if everybody did everything I wanted, the secret is I know I would still not feel like I have enough. And this is from a wound in childhood, which is not your fault. And there is a way to heal this. And this is what we will do together in the summer cohort on healing the wound of neediness and overgiving. So, in the 4-week online advising cohort, we will discover your specific, deeper pattern of this wound and what exactly are the physics of your neediness and overgiving. Where this unfillable hole inside you even came from, right? And then how it drives your behaviors and decision making in life, in relationships, who you choose to partner with, how you manage your boundaries with them, in the workplace, same thing, and with your family and friends. And then instead of just saying, oh, just be stronger, have more willpower, or love yourself, that's not our approach. We will instead teach you how to go directly into the deep inner wound and fill it, satisfy it, and heal it from within. From within, on your own power, not having to rely on anyone else, once and for all. This is the method we will teach you. And so the final result, right, will not be that, oh, you feel the neediness, but you're better at resisting it or stuffing it down, right? Instead, the final result will be that you don't even feel the neediness and the pain and the unfulfilled longing at all in the first place. Right from the beginning, you will not feel it. So there is nothing you even need willpower to address in the first place. And as a former needy overgiver, people pleaser myself, I can tell you, healing this wound is an unbelievable life experience. It is absolutely life changing. Because once you do that, the real you can finally come out fully without, the fear of losing love or losing approval or the fear of triggering World War III with your family and social circles. You can finally come out fully, whoever you are, however you are, without fear. It is a feeling of relief and liberation like no other, and it is absolutely life changing. One question I often get about this topic is, well, Artie, this sounds like it could be for me, but what if I'm not needy? I'm not clingy. I'm not weak like that. I'm actually strong and capable. What I do maybe need some help with is just strengthening my boundaries. Okay. In that case, I would say, yes, still do the cohort anyway. When I say neediness and overgiving, I don't necessarily mean clingy or weak or whiny, right? Often, the most needy people, right, you can't tell it from the outside. They present as super competent, overachievers, right? They have everything together, right? But they're still needy on the inside, and it still drives their decisions in life, right? And what this feels like. So they don't look weak on the outside. They look actually very capable, super, almost overcompetent, where they have it all together and they're happy to help you with your thing. They don't need help from you, but they're happy to help you with your thing, right? And without anything in return or seemingly in the beginning. And what's happening here, even though they present as strong but need help with boundaries because they're constantly giving it all away for free, is that on the inside for them, and I was in this spot myself as well, so I know it well. On the inside, it will feel like an inner drive and compulsion to do this, right? To overgive to others, to win their approval, because you have a sense, just a feeling that something bad could happen to you at any moment, unless you take on more than your share of work or responsibility, unless you say yes when you actually mean no, unless you brute force, push through, and overachieve. And by the way, overachievement from a feeling of fear of failure is actually also a form of saying yes when you actually mean no. Okay? And unless you let people take advantage of you and exhaust your emotional resources, and you don't even say anything because you don't even realize you feel exhausted and resentful until way after the fact, when it's too late to do anything and the boundary violation has already, been done and everyone else has moved on. And you're just there like exhausted and you feel like you've been taken advantage of. This inner wound of neediness will tend to make you feel unsafe in the world, needing constant reassurance from others that you're okay, nobody's mad at you, everything's okay. And as a result, you will do almost anything to constantly get that emotional reassurance and validation, because otherwise, without it, you don't feel safe. Just sitting there as you are in the world, just as you are, you don't feel safe. Right? In relationships, this wound of neediness can also drive you into giving a lot to your relationships first, before the other person even knows what hit them. You give time and affection and caretaking and emotional support without first negotiating and sussing out and scoping out what the exchange with this person will actually look like. Like, I can do all this, but will this person actually reciprocate, or are they just going to be a taker? Right? And what are the boundaries and limits of this relationship? What will they actually be? Right? You don't ask any of those questions. You just start giving right up front without even expecting anything in return. And the reason is, it's not out of love. It seems like love, but it's actually because you are afraid, because you don't feel safe in the world. You are afraid of speaking your needs and then openly trading and negotiating to get your needs met. And so, because you can't do that, you just give and give and give up front and just hope for the best, right? You hope you get something back later on, when in reality, all you get in the end is crumbs. And you feel in your relationships like you are living off crumbs. In fact, this happens so often with this wound pattern. Another title of this cohort could have easily been How to Stop Living Off Crumbs. Now, the general rule is that if you make your big decisions in life, career, finances, relationships, health issues, family issues, driven by this wound of neediness and overgiving, you will always pay a price later on, because you will never actually get your emotional needs met. And then you will be in these relationships and careers and other things where you feel like you give and give and give, right? And everyone's used to you giving. So when you stop, they're like, what the hell? And so you give and give and give, and yet you yourself are living off crumbs, emotional crumbs, all throughout your life. And so the beauty of a month-long training like this is that once you have learned this skill of healing your wound of neediness and overgiving from within, and then practiced with me with your own real life examples, right? And asking the things you have questions about in your own life right now and the things you're working in your life right now. It is a skill set you will have for you now to get yourself relief for all of these things you're working on right now, but then which you will also have for all the future chapters of your life journey, all throughout the rest of your life. Once you are able to fulfill your own core emotional needs from within, you will actually be able to enjoy your relationships with the people around you, lovers, friends, family, without the fear of starving emotionally. Precisely because you will have this power of nourishing yourself emotionally from within, entirely on your own power, with you forever, which nobody can take away from you. The fulfillment of your core emotional needs from within you is your birthright. And if you cannot do that for yourself right now, that's okay. It's not your fault. It is because you suffered a wound in childhood that made you feel unsafe and then focused on getting emotional nourishment from outside of yourself. But this then makes you vulnerable to the bad behaviors of others, right? And this wound, of course, is not your fault. This is the wound I want to help you heal once and for all, to teach you the skills to do this, and then practice with you so that you can strengthen your skills on your own, as much or little as you feel comfortable. Okay, so logistics. The cost for the 4-week cohort is the usual cost of $1,100. That comes with 4 weeks of direct advising with me in a small, intimate group. So you will get all the attention directly from me, get all your questions answered with all your life examples and all your specific challenges in your personal life addressed. We will start with trainings and exercises in probably the first 2 weeks, and then go even deeper the second 2 weeks using your own personal experiences, problems, questions, and scenarios, all during the 4 weeks we're together. It will be incredible. Now, this cohort will run from around mid-May to mid-June for about a month. And there are no issues with scheduling or time zones, because the way it works is I will send you the trainings for each week in a recorded video form like this. And then you will email me all your homework and the Q&A that you have. And then I will record my detailed answers to you on a weekly basis. Like, I'll do a screen share, I'll go through the document with everyone's questions, and then we anonymize it. We give you pen names as you feel, as you prefer. This way, right, it is completely personalized to you, but there's no hassle of scheduling live sessions, figuring out time zones. And I'm always available via email as well. So we have been doing cohorts in this format for several rounds now, several different topics, and it has been working unbelievably well. So there is also a bonus. Let me tell you about the bonus. The bonus is, if you sign up, is that we will formally start the cohort in a few weeks from now, right? But as soon as you sign up, you can start to send me your questions and dreams if you would like to, ASAP, and I will start reading them ASAP, right, on a sort of the same weekly tempo. So if you sign up today, right, looking at the date, you will get about 2 to 3 extra weeks of RD time, and even ahead of the official start time. Okay, so the sooner you sign up, the more time with me you get. But regardless of when you start, the overall goal of this cohort is to have me with you every week, advising you, brainstorming with you, and holding supportive sacred space for you so that you deeply are able to access, right, your inherent birthright source of inner emotional nourishment and fulfillment to help you develop your inner power of emotional self nourishment so that you can stand strong and independently in your life and stop living off the crumbs of others. What is it worth to finally feel safe in the world, just as you are? And without having to constantly make sure everyone around you is okay with you and approves of you and is not mad at you, just to feel safe as you are. What is that worth? What is it worth to finally not be taken advantage of by all the people around you, family, friends, coworkers, who are supposed to be the ones who love you the most anyway? And what is it worth in your relationships to finally stop living off crumbs? This is what we are offering in this very special summer cohort. And I'm so excited to be doing this with you to help you, and just so excited to be doing this topic finally. And so if you have any questions at all, send me an email. I hope to see you in this cohort. And thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.